Hello, welcome back to another episode of Strictly Sports.
My name's Boyce.
I'm Spencer, and we're your weekly destination for some true sports content without all the politics.
So let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah. So on our last episode, we both firmly agreed that Kirk Cousins should be a Jaguar, and then the Jaguars gave Blake Bortles a contract extension, basically saying they're not interested in Cousins or they believe in Bortles. You don't sign your quarterback to an extension if he's going to be the backup. So
yeah, it's
and then the Vikings are going to release Teddy Bridgewater and Case Keenum.
Yep.
So it's looking like he's going to go to Minnesota.
Denver's still in the picture, obviously.
Denver's still in the picture.
Jets still. I haven't heard any more rumors about him, but
The Jets would have to offer him.
I'm sure they're still willing to pay him whatever he wants, like they said originally.
I think if he goes to the Jets, I will be shocked because they are. I wouldn't want to play for the Jets.
No,
I don't care about the.
It's a bad franchise.
I mean, if he's really interested in making money,
and that's where he goes.
That's where he goes because you got a bigger market in New York too. But I mean, Minnesota, you're gonna.
But if you want to win games, you're gonna go to Denver, and Minnesota.
There's nothing. At some point, the money doesn't matter as much when you're losing every game and you're hating where you're at because your team sucks and it doesn't matter what you can't do anything to will them to win. So like, I don't see him going to New York.
It's been an interesting journey so far for him.
Yeah. If he goes to the Vikings, I think.
Oh, they'd be so good.
I think they'd be very good. I think it would be
so good.
We'd probably see the same three teams that we saw this year, like the three contending teams. Really, I think we would see the
Minnesota,
Vikings, Eagles, and the Saints all up there again because the Saints are so young; they're only getting better.
Oh, but yeah.
So
they turned their franchise around so fast in one off season.
I think the Saints could.
Contenders.
I think the Saints could definitely go to the Super Bowl next year.
I mean, they should have been. They really should have been an NFC Championship game. So it was incredible. I mean, the way that they lost, the Minneapolis Miracle. I mean, it was. You're right though. We have three teams right now in the NFC that are just absolute powerhouses.
And the AFC is again like, I mean, I'm gonna say like it's pretty much Pittsburgh or New England, Oakland. Like, it's too early to say about Oakland because we don't know how they'll play with John Gruden as their new head coach, but they definitely have a lot of talent on that roster. So I think the possibility for Oakland to make a Super Bowl run is there. Especially if they can have a good regular season and somehow get home field advantage over the Patriots, I think they could go. But
yeah, AFC West. I mean, everybody thought last year was going to be a super amazing, division, but it didn't work out like that. I mean, pretty much every team in there underperformed. I mean, Kansas City made the playoffs, but then they did what Kansas City does in the playoffs, which they blew their lead to the Titans. They let Mariota throw and catch his own pass. Denver was horrible. I mean, their defense looked really good, tip-top shape when they played Dallas and the leading rusher.
They don't have a quarterback, though.
Yeah, they don't have a quarterback.
They have Cousins. I think they could.
They get Cousins, they'd be a scary team. They really would be. And so there's still talks about them trading.
That's what's so interesting about the Kirk Cousins free agency is that he's nowhere near talent level of like an Andrew Luck, an Aaron Rodgers, a Drew Brees, even like a Roethlisberger. Like he's not up there in like the top tiers of quarterback.
Yeah, he's not elite, but he's steady. Like
you know what you're getting with him. He's reliable, and he's. I mean, I think if you put the right pieces around him, he could be super good. But like the NFL, I mean, I've said this before. It's like a system game. You see a lot of players like.
Well, systems outperform athletes.
Yeah, you can see a lot of players in. Like it's rare that we have players that would be good no matter where they played. A lot of it, players like I said, like Randy Moss, like Charles Woodson, players like that, like the all-time greats, they'd be good no matter where they played. But as far as the middle-tier players, they have to get in a system that really fits their play style, and then they can be like a top-tier player.
They can be something really good.
Like Aaron Rodgers could play.
You can play Aaron Rodgers anywhere. It's system Brady. He's phenomenal quarterback.
You couldn't put Brady in Kansas City and play in that
system. You can't put him like the Titans system or anything like that. Like
he's not mobile enough to do this.
Yeah, you got to put him in a certain scenario.
He needs a pocket. Yeah, Brady fits in a system where it's pocket passing, short passes.
Just dink and dunk offense with the once in.
It's very hard to stop.
The once in a while deep threat.
It's hard to stop though. I mean we've seen that.
But. Yeah. So but Kirk Cousins right now, I mean, man, he's gonna get paid a lot. He's going to get paid a good amount, especially after Jimmy G's massive contract and now Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers and Bear
31
contract talks. I mean,
the other 31 GMs in the league, when they saw how much Garoppolo got paid, they all they all cursed under their breath because they knew that they're gonna have to pay their quarterback
a ton.
if
An absolute
Garoppolo's
ton.
getting that.
Yeah, if Garoppolo's getting that.
I mean, Garoppolo might show like next season he could have an MVP caliber season. So
Garoppolo. I mean, for the times that he played, for the times that he started in San Francisco this year, he looked phenomenal. I mean,
yeah, but
they were undefeated.
It was only 7 games.
Yeah, it was only 7 games.
It's tough to give
for
something.
that roster to be, what was it, like 1 or 2 wins at that
yeah,
point?
they were
horrible. I mean, it was Browns and San Francisco.
He really changed up like what we thought the draft was going to be. Like mid-season, we were like San Francisco's going to have a top 3 pick. And
and they're going to get a quarterback for sure, and blah blah blah. And then he comes in, and they start him, and even though starting him, I still think was the wrong thing to do because obviously they didn't, or not starting was necessarily the wrong thing to do, but winning was the wrong thing to do. And as you know, we learned from Mark Cuban and Adam Silver.
Can't talk about tanking.
You can't talk about tanking.
Can't say that word. You can apply it, maybe.
Yeah, you can apply it or you can do it, but you can't. You know, it's kind of like an unwritten rule. You don't talk. You know.
It undermines like the integrity of the league, even though some points in time it's smart to tank if your team's pretty bad, but if your team's like if you have an old team and they're decent enough to win like 6 games a year. But nobody like I've always said the Pacers should tank because they've been the most mediocre team. They've been mediocre for a while.
Ever.
And they're good at like with Oladipo. He's gonna like they always have a good enough team to be competitive and get like a 6 to an 8 seed in the playoffs. But they I mean when they had Paul George and the Roy Hibbert, David West team, they were good enough to go to the finals. I mean they showed that they went to 7 games with the Heat, but.
But mediocre again, like I mean.
But now they're mediocre.
There's no movement.
No top tier free agents.
Not going up, not really going down. They're not getting great draft picks, but they're not making any playoff runs.
Yeah, they don't have anything. They don't have anything worth trading for a lot of assets. They don't have a lot of assets to trade. They don't have enough good players to really make a run. They don't even have good enough young, TJ Leaf. Does anybody think that he's gonna turn into an all-star?
No.
If we're being realistic, Miles Turner's been disappointing. So teams like that, I've said they should tank, get a few lottery picks, and see where they can go from there. Build up a young core, or trade their lottery picks for all-stars because an all-star that's fetching a lot of money is not going to go to Indiana because it's a small market here. You're not going to make a lot of money. Like when you can go to New York or LA.
Yeah, like somewhere big like that, or Miami. Just one of the big
Miami,
big states, exactly. So, it's an interesting.
Like when teams are in a cycle of mediocrity, that's when I think you should tank because it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah, because you're obviously not going to go anywhere. I mean, the harder thing to do is to push out farther in playoffs and get better and win championships. But I mean, that's the ultimate goal, and that's where you want to be. Every team wants to be. So when you get stuck in that cycle of mediocrity, I mean, it's. They're close. They're closer to the top than they are to the bottom, but it's not that much closer, and it's much harder to get to the top than it is to get to the bottom. So, I mean, for them tanking, it would make sense, but it's like you said, it's
In pro sports, there's kind of like a cycle that goes. It's the worst teams they're bad for a few years, and then they get to medium level or to high level depending on how well their draft picks pan out. And the good teams, they stay good for a little bit, and then they start to lose out. They start to lose their players. Players retire, and then they go back down, and they get new draft picks. So, like we saw that with the Colts, they were really good for a while. Then we sucked for a few years, for actually just 1 year, we were really bad.
Yeah,
we went down. Got Andrew Luck, who was a Pro Bowl level
generational quarterback.
He's very good. So
once in a generation talent. Yeah. So I mean, for Kirk Cousins right now, I mean, it's really. He's got options, and I like the options that he has. Like if I was Kirk Cousins, and I know how much money I'm going to be getting paid approximately, and it's a big amount of money. I mean, we just saw Garoppolo get $138 on his contract.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Now we're hearing about Aaron Rodgers maybe becoming the new highest paid player in the NFL.
I don't understand why Aaron Rodgers is so quick to re-sign with Green Bay. I understand maybe he loves it there.
Yeah, I always wondered that too. It's just
Green Bay. I mean. If you other than Aaron Rodgers, they don't have a ton of talent.
They have nothing.
Around the team. They have Randall Cobb, but he makes those receivers so much better than
he does. Yeah, I mean Jordy and him have a great relationship. They have great chemistry, so he can.
If Aaron Rodgers went to Denver, they would win the Super Bowl. I would.
They would not stop winning the Super Bowl.
Aaron Rodgers is the best, the most talented quarterback.
He's the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. He's phenomenal.
He's like one of the only quarterbacks where you can put him on any team and he instantly will make them better. He will instantly start winning games.
Yeah, he's he's phenomenal, and the Packers aren't. I mean, they are when Aaron Rodgers is there. We just saw him take his collarbone, injury, and then we saw what happened to them.
When they have Aaron Rodgers starting,
Huntley could not do anything.
when Aaron Rodgers is your starting quarterback and you have capable wide receivers, you don't even need Pro Bowl level wide receivers. You just need capable route runners who can just get some separation. He can beat any team. He can beat any defense with them.
Yeah, he's amazing. So when you see, you're right though. With Aaron Rodgers signing back to the Packers, I mean, free agency is kind of free agency is a difficult thing to get people to move out of. Even like Kirk Cousins we've seen, but obviously the Redskins are ready to let them go, let Kirk Cousins go because they traded for Alex Smith and they're not franchising him.
Alex Smith isn't a backup quarterback.
Yeah, so they got Alex Smith, so Alex Smith's the Redskin. That's who they're going with from here on out. So
not a bad bet.
The team is letting the free agent walk, and he's gonna. I mean, but most of the time when you get a free agent, it's just because their contract expires, and they usually they keep him inside. They don't let him get out of the building, and they really just keep.
In the
him
NFL,
there.
there's a lot less free agent. There's a lot less I would say turnover with
I think turnover.
I mean, towards the starters. I mean, obviously with the bench players, they cycle through all the time. But the starters.
But the stars like this year, the Ziggy Ansahs, the Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, the franchise tag does
Brees.
allow you to keep your best play. Like, it can be kind of unfair. I understand why they have it because in football, it can be so hard to keep the players that you think that you like, the good players, but on your team. But also, it can be kind of unfair to a player that doesn't want to be franchise tagged. He wants to go somewhere else, but the team doesn't want to let him
go. Yeah. So I mean, right now we're seeing free agency people start getting locked up, here and there. We just saw Ziggy Ansah get the franchise tag, and so it's for Kirk. I mean, he's got three main options at this point. I think it's still the Jets. Ew.
Yeah, Jets, Minnesota.
Jags no more.
Yeah, we talk.
Minnesota. I think Minnesota's the best option though. I mean,
he's got Stephon Diggs to throw to him.
Stephon Diggs. He's got Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. He's got Kyle Rudolph. He's gonna get a healthy Dalvin Cook in the back.
Defense.
He's got a phenomenal defense to help him out all the time and get them more.
Decent field position is really what you're looking for.
Yeah, and not to say anything wrong about Case Keenum. They obviously got their butt kicked
But the same thing, Denver and Minnesota are very very
similar.
Not identical, very similar.
But for the sake of systems like we were talking about, like just the overall roster as a whole. I mean, you got a solid defense on both sides of the ball. You have two capable receivers between you have
Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders.
Yes,
in Denver,
and granted there have been talks about Emmanuel Sanders getting traded or moved somewhere this offseason, but I don't believe it's going to happen as of right now.
If they're trying to get a quarterback to come there, then they're not going to trade their second best receiver.
Yeah. And another offensive line are great, but they're okay. They both have a standard running game. I'd say Minnesota's a little bit better than and like you said, their defense are super good.
That could come down to personal preference and what division he thinks is harder. Because the NFC, there's no
he's
clear
going to have to play the
favorite
Packers every year.
He's going to have to play the Packers twice every year.
Bears aren't really threatening to him.
Bears and Lions aren't very threatening, but you're going to have to beat off the Packers, who have pretty much.
Lions are solid, but yeah, and you're going to have to beat off Aaron Rodgers. And as Aaron Rodgers said it best, they can run the table.
Yeah.
So, what?
Yeah, so. I mean, the AFC West it's probably. I mean, Oakland. They could be really good. We don't know. Like, there's a chance that if John Gruden can get them together and can get Derek Carr to play well, because we know the potential's there, they could be really good. So that division will be tough to win, and you do have to play. Kansas City's a good regular season team usually.
Yeah.
And then the Chargers actually looked pretty good towards the end of the season.
Yeah, they really did. They were kind of underrated. I think,
Minnesota's probably the logical choice unless John Elway can really convince.
We know John Elway can do that. So, I mean, right now, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for our Kirk Cousins talk today. I mean, it's going to be exciting. Free agency is right around the corner. Combine's here. Draft's coming up. It's going to be exciting offseason.
We're going to jump into a bigger story the last week or so about the FBI probe and the NCAA, kind of exposing a lot of the corruption there with players basically being paid to go to certain schools, and that really hurt the NCAA a lot because a lot of the best teams, Duke, Michigan State, they were in that, and it really, it kind of just, I don't know if it waters down the play, but it's kind of, it makes it unfair to all the other teams. Like, when I saw Michigan State-Wisconsin game, I was thinking, like why is Miles Bridges even playing? We know he got paid, and it's kind of unfair to the other players who aren't getting paid. And it's unfair to the other teams that go by the book and don't want to pay their players. I'm not saying, I don't know I mean, there's still a lot that we don't know. So we don't know if like most teams are doing this or if it's just a small or just the teams that we know about. But like teams like Wisconsin, they're not going to get. They're not paying recruits that we know of. So,
so far, there's probably a good chance we know about it by now if they were.
Yeah.
After all this stuff that erupted, so we saw that we'll get robbed, there.
Yeah, and then with Sean Miller getting basically exposed for saying that he's going to pay DeAndre Ayton $100,000 to come play there. Like that's bad.
That's rough. That's really bad. And now it's bringing up a whole other thing. It's just bringing up more division and separation. Kind of between the athletes and the sporting programs versus the NCAA, because we saw it in LeBron, I believe it was.
LeBron said it was corrupt.
And he said the NCAA was corrupt, and now there's this whole back and forth and just fighting, and it's just, and we saw
LeBron said in an interview, they said did you get offered money by any colleges before going to the NBA? And they said nobody really was sure if I was going to go pro, and my junior and senior year he said if I had gone to college, me and my mom wouldn't have been poor anymore.
Yeah.
He implied that he was going to get a lot of money.
He was going to do just fine in college. So
it kind of shows the corruption, but at the same time, a lot of these kids, it's something that we have to understand is a lot of these kids come from underprivileged backgrounds. They don't have.
They worked hard, they chased their dream, and here they are.
They see their basketball, their talent, at their sport as a ticket to get their family out of a bad situation, exactly. So they're going to take money if they need it. Miles Bridges, kind of what we saw with him. He didn't come from a great background, and I think his mom got in trouble for having lunch with a booster, and he paid for lunch.
Yeah, something like that. And this goes back to even just more than just the basketball right now. We saw even in the football NCAA side. Between Reggie Bush and the Trojans back then.
And the Miami teams.
Yeah, the Miami's team, and so this has been an ongoing problem for so long, and now it's a big deal right now because they just found all these things, and there's a whole bunch coming out, and
this might help LeVar Ball's the Z League.
Yeah, is that what it was? The Z League?
I think the Z League where
he wants
he wants high school players to come play there and they'll get paid.
Yeah, they'll get paid at college. Yeah,
promote that. I don't see that flourishing too much.
I still don't see that flourishing, but it certainly does not hurt it. By any means,
it could help. But it makes players. I think we would see a lot of players go straight to the NBA. Like DeAndre Ayton. If he's getting paid $100,000 to go to college, then he probably could. I'm not saying he would have been a lottery pick, but he probably could have been picked in the first round. Michael Porter Jr. probably would have been picked in the first round out of high school. So.
And you look at how it's affecting other athletes that just at our age, seniors and juniors that are getting ready to commit and move on to the next step of college basketball. Might butcher his name here. Shaquille O'Neal. Sharif O'Neal.
He decommitted from Arizona.
Now he's committed to UCLA. Yeah. There's just snaps.
Sharif's not going to take any money. He doesn't need it.
No, yeah. He's got Shaq as his dad. He's not trying to come out of like you said, one of these impoverished, less privileged and certainly hurting lifestyles, and it's kind of brings up the debate: should college athletes get paid?
It does, because it's the good ones are getting paid already.
Yeah,
that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, so
it is unfair to the other players on the team who aren't as talented, are getting paid, but they're
putting the same work. They're going all the same practices,
they're not as good.
Weight trainings. Yeah, they might have better academics than the starters do, but they are just not as talented or as liked by the coaches to get a starting job or get as much playing time. So
payment usually is offered in recruiting to get the player together, and they're not going to say, oh yeah, you walked on, but you've been really good. We're going to give you $1,000.
Yeah, it's just really there to entreat the good recruits that come to. School.
We could see that. There's in Indiana. There's a lot of people want Romeo Langford to go to IU, but he's also considering Vanderbilt. So it's we're seeing we see a situation where money could be on the table with him. I'm sure it's not right now, considering all that's been going on, but it's definitely something that's been prevalent in college sports
for a while.
Most likely, football and basketball, maybe baseball if you get in the SEC, where it's pretty big there, but definitely football and basketball with the big programs that make a lot of money off of their athletes. They're definitely willing to pay them under the table if that means they'll come to their school.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but there's a lot more to be dealt with from here on out. So,
next debate topic.
Last segment of the day.
Last night, LeBron James became the first player in NCAA history, or not NCAA. What am I talking about?
You're still back.
He didn't go to college. First player in NBA history to have 30,000 points, 8,000 rebounds, and 8,000 assists.
First player ever. It's pretty incredible. So we have to bring up the debate again.
Is he better than Jordan? Is he the best player of all
time?
time?
Or is Jordan better than him?
It's
difficult to say. I mean,
because we never will see them play against each other in their primes.
We'll never see them play against each other.
If we saw a playoff series between those two, it'd be a lot easier to say. Or maybe that would make it harder, I don't know. Because Jordan's team would probably win, but LeBron would average like a quadruple-double and take it to game 6 by himself. So then that's pretty much how LeBron's career is going.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly elevates the players around him.
Yeah,
just look at the
when he was in Miami, he had a good team around him.
Yeah,
and we weren't saying, LeBron's having to carry them. But pretty much throughout his career in Cleveland, we've been saying LeBron literally is carrying this team.
Like, he had some talent with Kyrie Irving, and people thought he'd have more talent with Kevin Love, but
Kevin Love was a good.
He was solid. He wasn't like the big three kind of solid. But yeah, I mean you saw what they did. I mean the guy Isaiah Thomas have a trade who he certainly got talent, but that didn't work out. So they blew up the roster, made all these big trades, and now they got LeBron leading all these younger stars out there and elevating the entire team around him. So
LeBron is the only. It's not even. He doesn't have a big three there anymore. It's like LeBron and a bunch of good, decent talent, decent level.
Just good, solid players. I mean, nothing phenomenal.
But he's a good enough distributor. He's a good enough team leader. He's a good enough captain to lead them. He'll probably go to the finals this year. I don't see the Celtics with the new team. I don't know if the Celtics would take it to 6. I think. But
I think he'd definitely go to game 6 or 7. But I still think
I don't think the Celtics have the star power to literally just overpower LeBron, playoff LeBron.
Yeah, I mean Kyrie got his team that he wanted. He didn't want to be under LeBron's shadow.
He lost Hayward in the first game of the season.
That's true, but right now, currently this year, I mean, they're not getting Gordon Hayward back. So, I mean, I would pick LeBron and his Cavs to go over those Celtics this year. So, but LeBron versus
is he the best player of all time?
I mean,
I'm gonna say yes because.
So?
Well, first of all, I never watched Michael Jordan play in his prime. So my opinion would be different, but LeBron's the best player I've ever watched play basketball. I know a lot of Kobe fans are probably getting mad, but let's be honest.
Kobe's not top 2.
Kobe was a great player, but LeBron's just a little bit different level than Kobe.
Little bit, not big.
So, I mean, Kobe had Shaq for
he did have Shaq for a while.
I mean, he never had to go up against the Warriors, so tried to win a championship 3 times in a row. And he always had good teams around him. Whereas LeBron, in Cleveland, his first 7 years in Cleveland, he carried them so much. So I'm going to say he's better than Jordan just from the standpoint that he's got the more complete repertoire of skills, statistics wise.
I mean, what they always want to bring up is
he's not a better scorer, but he shoots close to or higher percentages. He's not a better free throw shooter. I'll give that to Jordan. He's a better rebounder. He's a better passer. He's a better defender, honestly.
I mean, what the common argument that the LeBron favorites, non-haters bring up is the people who believe Jordan's the greatest of all time. The argument that was bring up is the finals, the 6 rings compared to Jordan's 3-6 record. So or not Jordan, LeBron's 3-6 record, and that's a valid argument. I would not take that argument in football. It's really hard to take that argument in football, but when it comes to basketball, I mean the players, I believe, I feel like the players have much more of a chance and opportunity to take the game over.
Yeah.
I mean they play both sides of the ball. They play lots of minutes, and we've seen LeBron do it.
We saw when LeBron took the Cavs to the finals for the first time. We saw him pull that team to the final. It was all him. There was no chance that team even made the playoffs without LeBron James.
And you see him do crazy things like that, but then you also think about how his teams have lost 6 finals.
He's never been able. He's had trouble just finishing it.
Yeah, and I can't get mad at him about the most recent ones versus Golden State. I mean,
the first year
Kevin Durant's a snake. They built up a super team that was
his first year back in Cleveland, when Kyrie and Kevin Love both got hurt in the playoffs, and it was LeBron, Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith, Timothy Mozgov, and Tristan Thompson against the Warriors, and he got them to 6 games.
That's pretty good. And then on top of
pretty
that,
good.
they ended up coming back, winning the 3-1.
Yeah.
When they were down 3-1. That's incredible. Only thing I can really think about that's like really a big knock to them is when they lost to the Mavericks.
Yeah, that's one of my.
That's the biggest complaint that
that's
I
my one
have
finals.
final
Like
records.
LeBron in all his final series, win or lose, you can say, well, it's not all on LeBron. It's not all his fault. If he had more help around him or his team played a little bit better, I mean, he did all he could to help them win. But against the Mavericks, he really didn't play very well that series. If LeBron had, that's the only time I say if LeBron had played better, then they would have won. I think if LeBron had played better in that series, they would.
100%. I mean, he's been every team he's been a part of. He's been the number one guy, every single team, and he's been the number one player in the league for what, 14, 17 seasons now.
Since like 2005, probably.
Yeah, he's been the number one guy in the league ever since. I mean, yeah, he doesn't win the MVP every year, but still, I mean, he's
really been the most
valuable.
They didn't, like,
I mean,
he's the most valuable player to the league. Like, it's crazy how, like, he should get the MVP every year, but that would just get boring.
I mean, yeah, there's debate.
I mean, Russell Westbrook did average a triple-double, so you can do that one too.
Yeah, I mean, there's debate to go, more ways on LeBron, and there's debate to go back towards LeBron every year.
It's
but
pretty much the best player
every single year, LeBron is in that conversation of like top 3 in MVP votes. I mean, he's just that good. So my vote right now, I mean, I guess right now wouldn't change unless he really did something dumb, really started playing horrible. But I have to go with LeBron over Jordan. That's just my own personal.
Yeah, I just think he's a better all-around player than Jordan was.
I mean, granted, we never saw Jordan play.
I mean, and you can talk about the time, like the era that they played in, where Jordan played in a more physical era. He had to get past the bad boy Pistons. He had to get past the Celtics, like to get to the championship. And then he had to beat the Lakers and the Jazz, the Rockets. He had to beat a lot of good teams. But LeBron, the greatest team of all time, LeBron beat them in a final series to be down 3-1.
I mean, there's no
the most talented team of all time. He did lose in 5 games, but he averaged a triple-double. So
there's nothing more clutch to come back 3-1. Maybe if they're down 3-0.
Maybe if they're down 3-0,
but I mean, yeah. So right now, that's just where it stands. I mean, LeBron 38-8. I mean, I was watching a thing today from Nick Wright.
Who loves LeBron, by the way,
yeah.
so take this with a grain of salt.
Yes, don't take this entirely. I mean, this is LeBron's biggest fanboy we're talking about.
Yeah.
But no player has ever averaged 27, 7 and 7. 27,000 points, 7,000 assists, and 7,000 rebounds. No one. And I think he was saying that if you take like half of that, like 16, 4 and 4, there's only like 36 players ever do that, and they're all in the Hall of Fame that are eligible. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's certainly got a great track record up there to back him up.
He's got the statistics to back him up. I think if he wins maybe one more championship, 2 more championships, unless his team he's been playing in the league for 18 years, and he's been the best player in the league for probably 14 to 15 of them. So the fact that he's been able to keep that high level of play up for so long is pretty miraculous, honestly. And he's been so durable.
He's been very durable. I mean, that's part of him, with his whole resting out and sitting out things. So
I mean, Jordan did take like a year off basketball.
Yeah. He retired what, twice?
Twice.
Three times.
He retired once in the middle of his Bulls run, retired after the Bulls, and then played for the Wizards for a little bit.
Yeah, and there's debate about that too. I mean, durability is, maybe in some scenarios the best skill set.
Can't be good if you're not on the court.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he can be the greatest player of all time, but you've broken something. Derrick Rose is really good. He's a really talented basketball player, but
we would have thought Michael Beasley would be better than him in 2018.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that wraps it up for today.
All right. We're happy to have you tune in. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Strictly Sports with 2 Y's in the Strictly, because Strictly with 1 Y was taken for the username. So, we appreciate the follow, and tune in next week for another show. Thanks.
See ya.